there had been a great tumult in the structure of the flock of the sovereign shepherd. Many hirelings had entered into its ranks, appearing to be shepherds, as well as many wolves dressed in sheep's clothing. And the sheep of the flock became confused and began to believe in the maxims of the hirelings. However, this little lamb's father had come from a very special place in a nation across the sea. A place where the queen of the sovereign shepherd's flock had visited from the eternal green pasture to warn the whole world of these terrible calamities that came to follow. She revealed many mysteries to the sheep and showed them the way to God in the midst of this confusion and evil. The queen of the flock is the Blessed Virgin Mary, and the place was a little village called Cova da Iria, better known today as Fatima, in the small but strong nation of Portugal. Before returning to the eternal green pasture, the queen of the flock performed a spectacular miracle that tens of thousands of sheep witnessed. One of these was the great-great-grandfather of the little lamb. From that moment onwards, her great-great-grandfather's life changed completely. Whereas he had already been an obedient sheep of the flock before, he remained obedient, and even more so, as his faith also grew, and his desire to know the sovereign shepherd and to arrive at the eternal green pasture deepened day by day. He imparted to one of his daughters this lively faith, and although she herself never had a family of her own, she passed down the faith to her nephews, nieces, great-nephews, and great-nieces. The great-great-grandfather of the little lamb of this story and his daughter were mocked and despised by the majority of their family. But one little great-nephew listened attentively to the wisdom of the daughter of his great-grandfather, who had witnessed the miracle of the sun. This was the father of the little lamb. He was brought across the sea as a baby when he was just over 1 year old. He was also raised in the confusion of the world, seeing the sheep of the true flock living according to the precepts of the hirelings' flocks. But he also remembered, with curiosity and a deep sense of longing for the truths which had been taught him by his great aunt. However, when he grew up, although maintaining and trying to live these teachings, he also forgot many things and became somewhat confused. The mother of the little lamb of our story also had a very interesting upbringing. She was born in a continent even further from the nation of Canada. It was a beautiful paradise, filled with all sorts of natural treasures and exotic animals. Some sheep from the Portuguese nation had gone there and developed the land, brought the faith, and grew the economy, making this land one of the greatest exporters of crude oil, fish, coffee, and diamonds. It was a flourishing nation until the hirelings of the nation from whence these sheep came made a deal with the hirelings who lived in that land. This land is called Angala. At the age of 6, the little lamb's mother had to flee with her family back to Portugal, where their ancestors were from. But it was no easy task. Angala was already in the midst of a civil war, and the little lamb's mother had witnessed many of its horrors. She learned from a very young age of the evils of this world, and to cope with the trauma, grew to be very tough, hardworking, and straightforward, able to recognize when things are not right. Another grace had been given her. Her godmother had given her a relic of Saint Therese of Lisieux, a great sheep of the flock of Christ, after whom she was named. She brought this relic with her from the war-torn country in Africa back to Portugal, and eventually to Canada, where she met the little lamb's father. She always felt that Saint Therese was with her, protecting her and guiding her. And she still has this relic today, her only possession left from Angala. It was the will of God, the sovereign shepherd, that these two sheep from different areas of Portugal should meet and marry, in all places, Canada. Both confused about the true faith, but believing in the sovereign shepherd, they instilled in their only little lamb a great love for him and a great zeal for truth.